What's happening, hardscapers? Tight access, small space. Let's lay some synthetic base. Let's get into this. In this video, we're going to do a full complete gator base install using a semi-permeable jointed compound as well. And we're going to do a cost analysis of using synthetic base, paver base panels for your project versus actually doing a full traditional or open graded base installation. And we're going to be doing that using the How to Hardscape headquarters software. So here we are on today's project where we have a small little area. We have a tight access situation here. And then going around here, it's going through the pool patio area and everything. So we've decided we're going to take these out, dig down 3 to 4 inches, install gator base on this project. So we're going to just clean this area up, make it look nice for our client here. So tight access, very small area. And you know what, I decided instead of going through this gate, instead of trying to get through an entire pool patio, potentially destroying it, bringing in a machine, let's just take out these pavers. We're gonna actually hand dig 3 to 4 inches, compact, non-woven geotextile, gator base, pavers, polymeric sand, edge restraint, done. We are done excavation. We started at 11:30, it's now 2:15, so 2 hours, 45 minutes for 4 yards of excavation, 300 square feet. That's actually 3 yards plus the fluff factor. We actually also had to dig a little bit deeper. That came out to be our actual 4 yards there. 4-yard bin is completely full. So I clocked in and out to my How to Hardscape headquarters software, and we were able to time track for that and compare against our production rate. And our production rate is actually 1 hour, 1 person hour, 1 yard. So we were a little bit above that, but just actually we fell to it should have been 2 hours. We were 2 hours 45 minutes, but it's also a longer trip to the bin than expected, and we actually had to dig a little bit more and prepare a little bit more. So that is where we are with this. Now, when you are doing any excavation, you do want to get down to that subsoil. So we are down to our clay everywhere, and our black earth is completely gone, so that we are preparing our base on top of a solid foundation, and we are ready to compact, lay our non-woven geotextile, and then HPV goes on top. We screed it, gator base, pavers. Let's get going here. I'm back in the office, and I just want to run through the cost analysis of this gator base for you, and based on our time to actually excavate that and what gator base does to compensate for the costs involved in labor and disposal of extra excavation for our project. So I mentioned it took 2 hours 45 minutes for actually digging out 4 inches for our gator base. Now, if we were going to go open graded base or traditional base, we would have gone at least an additional 6 more inches. So if I say that our 4-inch excavation took 2 hours and 45 minutes, that actually would have taken us 4.125 more hours to be able to do 6 more yards. Add into that the depreciating cost of actually doing this by labor and hand digging this project, we would have probably been around 4.5 hours with us getting tired throughout that time. So let's say 4.5 hours, and I know through the How to Hardscape headquarters software that every hour that I'm on the job site, I need to recover $150 approximately. So 150 times 4.5 equals $675 just in overhead and labor costs, not to mention profit on top of that. And we still haven't started to add in the disposal cost of that excavated material. So for me, in a city like we're digging in here, the cost of disposing of excavated material is actually pretty expensive. We rent bins, so that would be about $400 per bin, and we'd actually need, unfortunately, 2 more bins because of that. And we might get away with 1 bin for this, about $450. So adding up our costs there, we are $675 plus say $450. We're at $1,125, so $1,125. That's what it would have cost us in terms of overhead, labor, and the cost of actually disposing of that excavated material. And you could say, well, I actually just dispose of it myself. You still have to find an area to dispose of it, pay for disposal. Some people in some areas don't have to pay for disposal. In this area, we are in a major city and it costs a lot to actually dispose of that material. And this isn't even factoring in profit on top of that. So $1,125. And our gator base cost us, we did 300 square feet approximately, and it is about $2.75 per square foot, about $825 for the gator base. So that saved us right there about $300 or so in cost savings to install this gator base, not to mention the cost savings in not having to hand dig an additional 6 inches. In addition to that, if we're not using gator base, we now have to fill up with base material. So if we're going open graded base for this, this would be 5.5 yards for this, and it would take us half an hour per yard approximately, loading up with a machine at the curb, taking it in wheelbarrows to the back. That's 2.75 hours times our $150 per hour, gives us about $412. That's in addition to that extra $300. We're now at about $750. And then we actually have to pay for that aggregate as well. That's 5.5 yards. And typically we're paying around $40 per yard for open graded material. And that's gonna get us $220 extra. Plus our delivery, we're around $300. And even if you're delivering it yourself, you should still be charging for that delivery and for that time that it would take you, especially if you're an owner operator. That's even more expensive. It makes more sense to get it delivered, especially if you're an owner operator. So that $300 plus our $750, we're now at $1,050, even upwards of about $1,100 there. So that's how much our gator base is saving us on this specific project. Tight access. Okay, we've laid the gator base. We have also gone ahead and laid the entire walkway. So some issues here were the foundation, so we're just trying to line things up properly here. But now, just a quick little thing that you can do is when you do have chipped pieces, broken pieces, we actually had a lot on these couple of pallets. Put them to the edge if you have cuts. If it's a full laying patio where you don't have cuts, no cut patio, it's a little bit more difficult. But in this case, we can basically use them because we need to be 17 inches from the fence. That's 4 inches for edge restraint at least. And then we have a 13-inch piece there, so we go 17 inches. And now that's going to be cut all the way along there to about that piece on the corner there. And with that, we will make the most use of our chipped pieces, and we don't have to try to return them to our dealer to try to get more. So now we will line up our chalk line and snap it and cut. And then our 6x13s can go in place all along here. We have a cut over there and we have a cut along here. And then we can install our edge restraint, jointing compound, done. The other argument would be, what if this was a machine access project? Does it still make sense to do synthetic base? Well, for me, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the application. But to do this thought process in terms of a dollar amount and how much gator base would save us, well, if we said that in our excavation here, if we were using a machine, we would be excavating 9 yards, or approximately half an hour per yard loaded up into a bin. So that would be 4.5 hours, but that would be people hours. If we have 2 people on that project, that'd be 2.25 hours for this specific project. And that would be about $337 in terms of our cost there. Versus the excavation by hand would be 4.5 hours plus our 2.75 hours. That's 7.25 hours multiplied by 150, and that's 1087. The difference there being about $750. Reduce that by our 1050 that Gator Base saved us on our project, and now we're saving $300 only, but it's still $300 of savings when comparing excavating by hand versus machine. So does Gator Base save you money? Yes, regardless of hand digging or machine operating. That also depends on regionally how difficult it is for you and expensive it is for you to dispose of soil, cost of aggregates and everything like that. It will save you a little bit of money in machine dig, and it will save you a lot of money if it's a tight access and you only can hand dig. Edge restraints in, and we've already started installing our nitro sand. Now this stuff takes a long time to install, more than what you would think. Lots of water, and now I've actually compacted for the first time using it. I've done it before and didn't think it made a difference, but on one of my other projects where I installed these 6x13s, there was a little bit of give in them after installing. So now after compacting it, there's nothing, it's really locked in. You can even see it's settled there through the joints. So now I can just go ahead and do a second quick application just to top up everything, and then I'll tool the joints to make sure that we get a good reveal on the pavement, and we'll be done.